Fabrizio Romano updates on William Saliba. William Saliba is thriving at Marseille so far this season, and having discussed quotes from his fitness coach only a few days ago, what today has Fabrizio Romano said about his Arsenal future? Also, what centre forward does Mikel Arteta reportedly want to sign? And does that list include a certain Dominic Calvert Lewin? Let's find out in the latest Arsenal news today. Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Babs14 and welcome back to your boys channel. Make sure to go down there and smash a like on the video if you guys do enjoy it, and while you guys are down there, please do consider subscribing to the boys channel because we are on the road to 70,000 subscribers. But getting into the Arsenal news and starting off with William Saliba. It was only a matter of a few days ago where your boy discussed quotes from the fitness coach of William Saliba, where he has said that Saliba plans to come back to Arsenal and wants to fight for a first team place. So that was great to hear, but today we have word from Mr. Here We Go, Mr. Fabrizio Romano, as he has confirmed that Arsenal are following William Saliba's progress closely. They are really happy with the French centre-back. Arsenal told Saliba weeks ago that they trust him 100% for the future. He joined Olympique Marseille on loan to play all the games as a starter, then he'll be back. So confirmation via Mr. Fabrizio Romano that Arsenal have confirmed to Saliba 100% that he has a future of Arsenal and they are counting on him for next season. Now, in terms of Edu Gaspar and Mikel Arteta, these guys have always made it clear to the media in numerous interviews that they believe Saliba is a part of the long-term future at Arsenal Football Club. And Arsenal have also made it clear there was no sort of loan option to buy or obligation to buy towards Marseille in Saliba's loan transfer, despite Marseille pushing heavily trying to get that to be a part of the deal. In the eyes of Edu Gaspar and Mikel Arteta, they want Saliba to play minutes week in, week out on a consistent basis, and at Arsenal with the likes of Ben White and Gabriel Magalhaes, that was always going to be difficult for Saliba because these are players with more experience and also slightly ahead of him in the pecking order. But putting Saliba's name to one side, the so-called Mbappe of centre-backs, loaning out a 20-year-old centre-back to play minutes week in, week out for a top club, where he gains a lot more experience as a centre-back, where he gains a lot more experience of top-level football, and also has a chance to iron out any sort of mistakes in this game, which is expected of a 20-year-old. On paper and in the eyes of Mikel Arteta and Edu Gaspar, it made a lot of sense to loan out William Saliba. And so far so, in his loan at Marseille, Saliba has strived. In terms of his defensive numbers, he's averaging 1.1 interceptions per game, 1.4 tackles per game, 0.1 times dribbled pass per game, and 3.3 clearances per game. But what's even more impressive is Saliba's passing numbers, where he's averaging 75 accurate passes per game. That's a 95% pass completion. And also in terms of accurate long balls, 3.7 per game and an 84% success rate. William Saliba is growing into and becoming a top young ball-playing centre-back, music to the ears of Arsenal fans. But once again, for me, this falls down to the player himself. Does he see a future at Arsenal? Is he happy at Marseille? Personally, for me, having signed for Arsenal for such a massive fee and also being a childhood Arsenal fan, I am sure William Saliba wants to come back to Arsenal and to fight for a first-team place once his loan expires. And then having the likes of Saliba, Gabriel, Benny Blanco, Ben White, that's looking like a half-decent centre-back trio. But what do you guys make of Arsenal's strategy towards William Saliba? Do you agree with it or do you disagree with it? And while we are discussing Arsenal centre-backs on loan, Dinos Mavropanos on loan at Stuttgart has made the most in-form 11 in Europe's top 5 leagues from Who Scored, averaging a 7.42 rating per game. Mavropanos is doing pretty well at Stuttgart, but unfortunately, unlike Saliba, this guy does have an obligation to buy, as Chris Wheatley has revealed the full details of the Dinos Mavropanos Stuttgart deal. Arsenal received a €500 loan fee up front and a €3 million obligation as long as Stuttgart don't get relegated. The quality of player that Mavropanos is for €3 million, for me, I think that is an atrocious deal from Arsenal's side. And even though he might not be in the Arsenal level centre-back and how Ben White, Gabriel and Saliba are ahead of him in the pecking order, surely Arsenal could have got a better deal than just €3 million. I mean, that there is just a poor deal in your boy's opinion. Okay, then moving on, let's discuss Arsenal's potential new centre forward. Come the end of the season, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is going to be approaching 33 years of age, and Alexandre Lacazette's Arsenal contract is set to expire and he's going to leave on a free transfer. So all that indicates towards Arsenal signing a brand new centre forward. But who exactly is that player going to be? Well, according to Mark Owen today, Arsenal have drawn up a list of targets to replace Lacazette, with Dominic Calvert Lewin and Ollie Watkins mentioned as potential replacements. Mikel Arteta wants a young goalscorer with Premier League experience, and Stan Kroenke is prepared to back Arteta with further recruitment funds. Despite being at Arsenal for nearly 2 years now, Mikel Arteta is still yet to sign a single centre-forward signing, but now he's eyeing up Dominic Calvert Lewin and Ollie Watkins apparently. The fact that both of these players are English internationals and Premier League proven makes a lot of sense. Even though your boy has always been casting his eyes out of Alexander Isak at Real Sociedad, that player is 21 years of age, he's going to cost £70 million, and while your boy believes has a higher ceiling, it's a far more risky transfer and also a transfer that would take a lot more time to adapt. Whereas if Arsenal are spending that sort of money and trying to compete for the top 4, they want players to come into the team right now, understand the Premier League and hit the ground running. Ollie Watkins and Calvert Lewin are both fitting that bill. Zoning into Ollie Watkins, he's 25 years of age, scored 14 goals and got 5 assists in the Premier League last season, and with that being his debut season in the Premier League makes that slightly more impressive. Overall, Watkins is a very strong player, he's got a great holder play, very physical, he's decent in the air, but he's also got that pace to run in behind, and he's also a very decent presser. So overall, there is a lot of reasons to make Ollie Watkins a very good option for Arsenal Football Club as our brand new centre forward. But the issue here, my friends, is the money. Watkins is under a long-term Aston Villa contract up until 2025, and as Villa have already shown in the last window with Jack Grealish, these guys will not let the players go for any sort of cheap transfer. But despite the transfer being expensive, could Watkins potentially push for a transfer? Well, in the past, Watkins has come out with an interview where he has already confirmed that Arsenal is his dream transfer and his dream club, and it's rightly so, we are gargantuan after all. But overall, Ollie Watkins is a decent new option, but is he as good as Dominic Calvert Lewin? Well, DCL is 24 years of age, 1 year younger, with 16 goals in the Premier League last season, and this guy is a proper unit as a centre forward. 6'3" in height, he's an aerial demon, but not only is he physically very strong, but he's also got the technical capacity to be a good link-up play striker. But it's also worth noting that he has that little burst of pace to make runs in behind defences. The fact that he's also entering his peak years, has that Premier League experience and the goal scoring nous, it makes him a very attractive option for Arsenal Football Club. But just like with Ollie Watkins, this man's not going to come cheap. On the contract until 2025 at Everton, he is Everton's star boy, he's a star guy. If Arsenal are serious about signing Dominic Calvert Lewin, we're talking upwards of £60 to £70 million or maybe even higher. But when it comes to money, your boy's not that concerned, because as the owners have shown the last window, they trust Arteta and they will give him money to spend. Need I remind you, Arsenal spent the most amount of money out of any team in Europe last season. So for me personally, money isn't really that much of an issue. But is DCL or Ollie Watkins the right guy? Well, let's have a discussion down below in the comments. Would you take Dominic Calvert Lewin or Ollie Watkins at Arsenal, or do you guys have another centre forward that you want to see Arsenal sign? Talking about Arsenal strikers, what about the future of Gabriel Martinelli? Now, it goes without saying, it has been an underwhelming start to the season for Pele's godson, as so far despite starting the first 2 games of the season, since then Martinelli's minutes have been reduced to nothing whatsoever. But personally speaking, the boy isn't that worried. This is a player who, by the way, had no summer off whatsoever, having gone to the Olympics and come straight back into Arsenal. That is a factor there. And also, we cannot forget, he's still 20 years of age. And I don't quite understand why fans are so intent on seeing a 20-year-old start week in week out as if he's in his peak years. I understand that Saka, Smith will do that, but these guys are exceptions. But at the same time, you have to ask the question, with the lack of minutes and the fitness of Lacazette, Pepe, Aubameyang all being ahead of Martinelli, some fans are starting to ask the question of, should we loan out the Brazilian star boy come the January transfer window? Personally, I think I'd keep him, but let me know your own thoughts on, would you loan out Martinelli come January? Is that something Arsenal should be doing? Okay, then moving on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with young Flo Balogun, who has been nominated for the Premier League 2 Player of the Month award. To me and many Arsenal fans, Balogun has already proven that he's already past the under 23 level. Even though Balogun still has a long-term future at Arsenal, having signed the contract last season, the fact that he's behind the likes of Aubameyang and Lacazette isn't really the worst of options to potentially loan out following Balogun in the January transfer window. Some interesting defensive stats for Arsenal so far this season, as we have the most blocks in the Premier League, the fewest times being dribbled past, the fewest tackles won, the 6th most interceptions, 3rd fewest fouls committed, and the 4th most aerial duels won. It's quite clear to see that Arteta is trying his best to make a well-drilled and competent Arsenal defence. Nearly 2 years into his Arsenal reign, he has already signed 6 defenders in his Arsenal regime. Arsenal fans have always cried out for a somewhat decent defence, and as the stats have shown, under Arteta, Arsenal have improved as a better defensive team. But my real concern, which is shared by a lot of Arsenal fans, is Arsenal going forwards. The fact that we've only scored 5 goals in 7 games this season, despite having the likes of Aubameyang, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Saka all making more chances, I still think Arsenal need to be far more decisive in the final third, and things are still yet to click. If Arsenal are serious of trying to make that top 4 or top 6, we need to address the attack and become far more clear-cut and decisive in the final third. That is over to Mikel Arteta and the Arsenal attackers. But speaking on Mikel Arteta, here are the win rates of our last 3 permanent managers, with Arteta having 54.7% from 95 games, Unai Emery with 55.1% from 78 games, and Arsene Wenger with 57.2% from 1,224 games. Now, putting Arsene Wenger to one side, he's in his own level. Only 0.4% separating Mikel Arteta and Unai Emery, despite Arteta having more games. Even though we have got 10 points out of the last 12, 2 back-to-back 8th place finishes under Arteta has kept the Arsenal fans constantly on constant pressure towards the Arsenal manager. But irregardless, Arteta has the trust of the Arsenal board and most importantly, the trust of the Arsenal ownership. There is a reason why Arsenal gave him £150 million to spend. They believe in Mikel Arteta, and that is why, as things stands, Arteta is still pretty safe in his Arsenal job. On this day in 2020, following months of speculation, Arsenal completed the signing of Ghanaian midfielder Thomas Partey from Atletico Madrid by activating his £45 million release clause on transfer deadline day. A year ago today, it was a deadline day Partey. It was beautiful scenes, my friends. But in terms of the career of Thomas Partey so far, I think inconsistent is the word. Now, we have seen certain games of pure class, that game against Man United away, Thomas Partey masterclass, but whether it's been injuries or other factors, Thomas Partey just hasn't shown us the overall consistency of a world-class central midfielder. So the fact that Arsenal spent £45 million on this guy was a big money signing. We now need some big money performances. But 1 year into his Arsenal career, what have you guys made so far of Thomas Partey? Let's rate his Arsenal career out of 10 down below in the comments. How much have you guys enjoyed the Partey? But that is the video. If you guys have enjoyed, make sure to go down there and smash a like on the video, and while you guys are down there, please do consider subscribing to your boy's channel. If you want to follow your boy on them social medias, then the links will be down below in the description. But that was the latest Arsenal news today, as your boy continues to try to give you guys that international break entertainment. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you later in a bit.